thank you so much for being here. To think after so many years of no DVD releases, there's still this many active Yu Yu Hakusho fans. Anybody upgrade to the Blu-rays recently? A few. Okay, all right. I appreciate it. Aizu Hakusho or Aizo Hakusho, anyone? Yep. The diehards. I like it. Very cool. Well, so yeah, once upon a time, in 2001, when we were younger, we started the dub on this show, and it was absolutely the most fantastic thing that I've ever gotten to kind of work on. Does anybody have any questions or anything like that about what we got, or who wants to know what? What do you want to know? What do you want to know?
Where did you cast yourself?
Aha! I didn't cast myself, actually. What happened was that I had no idea who would play the role of Yusuke. Who I was leaning towards heavily was Damian Clark. I thought he would probably be extraordinarily good at being able to kind of bring that arrogance and attitude. Looking at his work from the Trunks special, I don't know if any of you remember that OVA from DBZ where he plays Teen Gohan in the future, right? I just thought that was a real good part, and I thought that was I keep looking at Yusuke over here. But I thought that would be a really slick voice for Yusuke. Anyway, we went through and auditioned, didn't find anybody. The producer, Funimation at the time, asked if I would step into the booth and give it a shot. I did, and then of course that meant, to get to your question, that I had to step away from a decision making as far as that character was concerned. So I became, kind of had to take the voice director hat and put it down and put an actor hat on and give it a shot. And then it was actually the producer and a committee, including Gen Fukunaga and a few others, that decided that was the way to go. Quite honestly, I had just gotten into voice directing, so to kind of wear those two hats felt like a lot to try to handle at once. And I don't think I would have tried to volunteer myself for that, but I was darn excited when it happened, though, that's for sure.
I remember you being very stressed out during that time.
Jerry and I play music together and have forever, since the dawn of time.
Since the dawn.
And so yeah, he'd roll over to the house and it'd be,
hey, what's up?
yeah. I can tell you, Yu Yu Hakusho is the show that, bar none, proved to me you have to, as a voice director, watch your entire series before you begin working on a show, i.e. the narrator. You don't find that out until episode 111, and I'm glad we figured that out beforehand, as opposed to getting all the way to the end and realizing, oh, he's the narrator. So there you go, do your homework first, or it will bite you. Somebody else had raised their hand, and you're with the Yusuke.
I have a question for Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
How hard was it to do Jim's random babbling accent
There,
that no one could understand?
Love them.
I understood it perfectly.
Yeah. Woo!
I knew exactly what I was saying. Go along with me on this and see if I get it basically right.
You told me just recently you did.
Yeah, it's, I believe this was all you, the decision to place. When there are so many demons and monsters and whatnot in a show, the danger you run into is, and you can tell it even from Yu Yu Hakusho, hey, wow, most of the demons sound the same.
We're all down here, everybody's got the same demon voice.
Yeah.
And so that's everywhere. Well, Justin's decision was, well, I want, this is a whole different world. I want people in some way to be able to tell that there's range to this, that they come from different places. Well, how are you going to do that? Accents. There was an Australian accent.
Chew!
Yes.
A la Mad Max.
And I believe, if I remember correctly, anyone seen Snatch?
Yeah.
The Pikey character?
Yeah.
That was the inspiration for Jim. And you guys say that you couldn't understand what Jin was saying. We cleaned it up. Because you really would not have been able to understand what Jin was saying. But it's really just a fast Irish accent. That's all it is.
You got that right.
It was sweet working with Jared Hedges, who was the ADR writer for Yu Yu Hakusho, which, by the by, Jared came back up out of the woodwork and to do Aizu Hakusho to help keep, not just the production team, well, the whole production team kind of stayed the same for Yu Yu Hakusho when we came back with it. But Jared jumped on board with this stuff. He saw that we wanted to go with accents, and it was he jumped all over it and helped really fill out all of Jin's lines with much more dialogue so it could be spoken as fast as it could. And then he also did a lot of work as far as trying to find those comparisons between what was happening in the original Japanese, but then also trying to find a way to voice that, but then also and now taking a third step that wasn't there, which is now make sense of this into this, now put it into an accent, and it needs to be spoken faster than what you'd ever speak. And so Jared really rose to the challenge. I mean, he blows my mind with some of the scripts that he comes up with. He's just an incredible.
I guess he was also Shin-chan.
Yeah. And he's done much for Nickelodeon. Yes, sir.
Yeah, did you know the voice actor who played as EA in that show?
Chuck Ebert.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What do you mean?
Right. Did you know him personally, or?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, being an ADR engineer for Dragon Ball Z, starting somewhere. Well, right as soon as Goku beat Frieza and then was stuck on the planet with Planet Yargarat, I believe was the name of the planet. That might be my first episode as an engineer. So I actually sat in with Chris and ran engineering for the audition for Android 17, and of course Chuck had already done the voice of Emperor Pilaf as well as Garlic Jr. So Chuck was kind of a staple at Funimation.
Still is.
Yeah, I like him when he plays as Shin's father in Shin-chan.
Yeah, absolutely. A character role that to some degrees hits home for Chuck quite a bit as a father of many.
I noticed that Chris Sabat took a really different take on Kuwabara's voice when you went back. How did it get to that point?
Well, I mean, when we went back, you mean for the Blu-ray release?
Well, for Tezio.
For Aizu Hakusho? That's what 10 years will get you. It wasn't as much of a different take as, because we went back and listened to reference lines and the whole bit, and we ran into and I don't even call it a problem because it's the same folks, but Cynthia's voice as Botan had changed slightly. Really, I'm going to point to them again because they're my visual references. Chuck and John, their character voices were so naturally placed in their voices for Kurama and Hiei that there was very little change. And Yusuke's voices, as you can hear, that's just me, really. But of course, Kuwabara is its own incredible beast of a voice. And the thing that he really tries to balance between is not presenting too much yes on one hand, and then Piccolo on the other hand. And so, it's like taking somewhere in the middle of that and then pushing it forward with like kind of a Bronxian type, accent a little bit there. But no, I don't think it wasn't any kind of an intention. There wasn't any intentional change. I think it's just where his voice sat when doing the Kuwabara voice. So it wasn't any intentional change. Yes.
How'd you like doing Pooh?
I thought it was really great. And now that one, to go back to the first question, I did cast myself as Pooh, but I felt like if Pooh was going to be Yusuke's alter ego, as it were, his spirit animal. I felt like that would be a good match, and so it was. I think that the scenes where it played in the strongest is, of course, when Yusuke is with Genkai during the Dark Tournament and he screams for a lot. That's when the Pooh character, I guess, as much as one character can get for just doing nothing but. But at any rate, it was a fun voice to do, for sure. Maybe, I don't know if it was the most fun, because it does, it's really up there. We would have to pitch him